Calls for a state of emergency for San Diego's homeless. How the city is dealing with a hepatitis outbreak.
I think we can find a middle point of wisdom, public safety, and we can make the place better.
Transforming California's prisons. Governor Jerry Brown in San Diego today, defending plans to reform the system.
They're going to have to resort to therapies that we don't think work as well, that we have more side effects, like the opioids.
The search for relief, the warning from doctors on proposed changes to chronic pain treatment. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. The city of San Diego is installing portable hand washing stations downtown today to fight a deadly outbreak of hepatitis A. The city is complying with the directive yesterday from the county health department to improve sanitation where homeless people live. That includes 30 hand washing stations and sanitizing streets and sidewalks. The hepatitis outbreak has led to 15 deaths and hundreds of hospitalizations. It's hit the homeless population the hardest. San Diego City Councilman David Alvarez says the homeless situation has become bad enough that he's asking the mayor to declare a state of emergency. Alvarez sent a letter to Mayor Kevin Faulconer outlining his concerns that included the hepatitis A outbreak. He says the city should combat the problem by opening temporary shelters at the former downtown city library building and/or Golden Hall.
It is really an emergency situation. We need to find a safe place for people who are living in our streets in fecally contaminated conditions, to have a safe place to rest at night, to sleep at night, and the facilities to use the restroom and wash their hands.
The mayor's senior advisor says a state of emergency is not needed, adding Mayor Faulconer declared a state of emergency on homelessness last year that was approved by the city council, including Councilmember Alvarez. California Governor Jerry Brown gave a spirited defense today on efforts to reform the state's prison system. This was at a conference being held in San Diego. And KPBS reporter Eric Anderson has details.
The governor took the stage just after the State Prison Industry Authority made a pitch to a room full of employers to hire trained ex-convicts. They argued a job is the key to keeping inmates from going back to prison. Brown says a number of things conspired to swell the state's prison population. California built more prisons, and mandatory sentences helped quickly fill them. Brown says judges had lost their sentencing flexibility.
That a determinate sentence gives no reward for turning your life around. If you, by your behavior, can alter your sentence by years, that's an incentive to avoid the gangs, to avoid the dope, to avoid violence, and shape up and take programs. That was absent for too long in our prisons.
The prison population swelled as hundreds of tough-on-crime laws took effect. A murder one conviction during the governor's first term carried a 10-year-to-life prison term. Now murder one is a 59-year-to-life sentence. Brown says there were good intentions to protect society by locking away danger. However, the governor says that backfired as prison inmates were forced into overcrowded jails and actually became more dangerous.
I think we can find a middle point of wisdom, public safety, and we can make the place better. To make it better, we need your help for the jobs. We need the training in the prison. We need the correctional officers to understand their job is not to treat people like animals, but to treat them like children of God as they are. That's the way they get treated.
The state prison population swelled to more than 170,000 when Brown started his second stint as governor. 35,000 are serving life terms, and others are serving long mandatory sentences. But the Supreme Court intervened in 2011 and ordered the state to reduce the number of people behind bars. San Diego County Sheriff Bill Gore says that happened, but not without consequences.
And it worked. The state prison system came down from 170,000 to about 130, but consequently my jail population went from about 4,000 to 6,000. And that was pretty much the case all over the state of California.
Gore says creating relevant programs for prisoners is an important part of the effort to keep people from reoffending and going back to jail. He says drug education and job training are two approaches that work. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
As floodwater recedes in Houston, the focus then becomes recovery. The White House is expected to ask Congress for $5.9 billion, and that's just for starters. Some experts predict recovery spending on Harvey to rival that of Hurricane Katrina. The 2005 storm cost taxpayers $100 billion. AccuWeather estimates Harvey has caused nearly $200 billion in damage. The Associated Press reports in a closed-door meeting, GOP leaders came up with a plan to pair an increase in the debt limit with relief funding for Harvey, making it a more popular yes vote. Help is on the way for dogs and cats in Houston. Today, a group of concerned San Diegans gathered thousands of pounds of pet food. Here's cell phone footage from an El Cajon Walmart where workers are hauling bags of chow paid for with donations. This was a grassroots effort organized by local real estate agent Linda Ring, who says she was touched by the images coming out of Houston and decided to act. She put out a call on Facebook. Volunteers collected more than 6,000 pounds of food. Today, they loaded it onto 2 semis heading to Houston. The fate of the DACA program will be announced on Tuesday. The White House says the president is working this weekend on what to do about the hundreds of thousands of so-called dreamers who enrolled in the Obama-era program. It temporarily shields participants who were brought into the country illegally as children from deportation. Today, Trump told reporters, "We love dreamers. We love everybody." But many advocates fear the president will phase out the program. Some Democrat Assembly members are pushing Congress to censure President Trump for his comments after the violent protest in Charlottesville. It involved white supremacists who were protesting the removal of a Confederate statue in the city. Lawmakers who support the censure say the president's comments did not condemn racist messages strong enough.
The president is the most recognizable leader in the world, and as such, he has the most important microphone for promoting tolerance and bringing people together. And, his actions have opened up deep wounds of hate and hurt.
State lawmakers say the censure sends a message that they expect more of the president. California lawmakers also want to keep an eye on racism levels in the state. They've approved an audit to research hate crimes. This comes as recent studies show a steady rise, especially in the number of vandalism incidents on mosques. Lawmakers say the audit will closely look at data from law enforcement agencies in all of the 80 assembly districts and will analyze how agencies report hate crimes and how officers are trained to deal with them.
It is not intended to place blames on any agencies, and it was really trying to give us a good picture, a better picture of how law enforcement are addressing this issue.
Democrat lawmakers are blaming the rise in hate crimes partially on President Trump and the tone he uses during speeches. But a report from the U.S. Department of Justice indicates that the surge began before Trump took office. The California Department of Workers' Compensation has proposed dropping coverage of certain non-opioid treatments for chronic pain. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg says the proposed changes are rubbing a lot of doctors the wrong way.
One of the treatments that would no longer be covered is called spinal cord stimulation. It involves implanting a small device near the spine. The device generates electrical pulses that keep pain messages from reaching the brain. Dr. Mark Wallace chairs the Division of Pain Medicine at UC San Diego Health. He says without this option, many injured workers will have a tough time.
They're going to have to resort to therapies that we don't think work as well, that we have more side effects, like the opioids. There are a lot of pain medications that have cognitive side effects.
Wallace says at a time when opioid abuse is rampant, it doesn't make sense to eliminate coverage for effective alternatives. More than 33,000 Americans died from an opioid overdose in 2015. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
We take a look at why raising taxes to pay for big civic projects like stadiums just got easier, and at the legal and financial challenges facing the venerated Salk Institute. That and more on the KPBS Roundtable tonight at 8:30.
Labor Day weekend is traditionally the symbolic end of the summer, filled with barbecues and games. But right now, our county is in the middle of a heat wave. Today, parts of the county saw temperatures skyrocketing past 100 degrees. The high temperatures expected until tomorrow. The National Weather Service is issuing a heat advisory. Into Sunday, they're expecting thunderstorms with showers. So if you're planning a party this weekend, you might want to wait until Monday.
Don't be surprised if even going to the beach tomorrow is hot. So especially if you're going out in the mountains and trying to get relief, there's no relief. If you can wait till Monday to do a lot of outdoor activity.
The National Weather Service is expecting another heat wave to start right after Labor Day. Mark Mancuso has more in tonight's forecast.
The heat's on right through the holiday weekend. Heat advisories through Saturday. It's humid through Labor Day. And there'll be some thunderstorms around, especially on Sunday. Here you can see the advisories, heat advisories. And we also have excessive heat warnings. So slow down, reduce your levels of activity. Try and stay inside in the air conditioning. If you're outdoors, take some breaks, have some water. For tonight, mainly clear skies, our low temperature, a mild 72. As we head inland, temperatures tonight into the 60s, and as we head through the mountains, mid-60s, and in the desert, we see temperatures in Borrego Springs right around 80 degrees for a low. Now, as we take a look at the scenario for Saturday, easterly flow, that's hot. In the mountains, winds will be strong and gusty out of the east, and there could be an isolated thunderstorm or two popping up. Just not enough moisture west of the mountains for any precipitation, at least on Saturday. So we'll see sunshine and warm temperatures. As we take you inland, we're close to 100. Could see a storm in spots, better chances in the mountains, and as we take you into the desert. We show you the futurecast, taking you through Saturday night. Not a lot of action here. Could see a stray storm at night. During the day on Sunday, better chances for a shower or thunderstorm in the mountains over to the coast. Lesser chances as we take you into Monday morning, but still not zero on the holiday, so still a little moisture around, so there could be a straggler up in the high country. As we take a look at the forecast along the coast, we're looking at our best chance for storms on Sunday. Pretty humid here right through Monday and Tuesday. Inland, it's hot. Storms possible, especially on Sunday, and then not as warm as we take you to Monday, but still a bit sticky. In the mountains, better chances for storms here Saturday, maybe a storm in spots on Sunday, and in the desert, better chances for a storm on Saturday, lesser chances as we dried out early in the week, and it's hot. For KPBS, I'm Mark Mancuso.
Researchers have explored the possibility of talking to our closest cousins in the animal kingdom. NPR producer Adam Cole takes a look at the controversial history of ape language research.
There's a long history of humans trying to get apes to talk to them. But will we ever get close to a true conversation? Could an ape ever learn to use language the way humans do? Good question. Scientific efforts to talk to animals have often focused on the great apes, our closest, cleverest cousins. I grew up believing that apes could talk to humans using sign language. I remember this one Reading Rainbow episode about a gorilla named Coco.
Who is that? Think me there. That's very good.
This blew my mind. Here was an animal who could talk to me. But years later in college, my dream was shattered by Professor Robert Sapolsky. He said in a lecture that all that stuff with Coco was baloney.
There were no data. Scientists couldn't make any sense of it because there were no numbers. There was no anything you can actually analyze. And then you look at the films. Your socks knew more American Sign Language than this gorilla did.
Wait, what? Can Coco use language or not? Looking for answers, I dove into the long history of ape language studies. One of the earliest experiments was captured in this 1932 film. two psychologists, Luella and Winthrop Kellogg, asked, if we raised an ape as a human, would it start to speak? So they brought up Gua, a chimpanzee, alongside their own son, Donald. She learned to respond to English words and phrases faster than Donald, actually. Things like get down and don't touch. But was this any different than a dog being conditioned to respond to sit? That doesn't mean this dog understands English. And there wasn't any evidence that Gua did either. There's something really disturbing about this experiment. Is it right to forever change the life of an ape who could live 50 years just to satisfy our curiosity? This study from the late 40s wasn't any better. Vicky's keepers tried to teach her to speak by literally shaping her lips with their fingers. She learned to form a few words, sort of. Scientists decided that spoken language wasn't the way to go, but they noticed that in the wild, chimpanzees use a lot of gestures. Maybe they could be taught a few words of American Sign Language. Enter Washoe. As you can see in these videos, Washoe had an all-American childhood. She lived with psychologists Trixie and Alan Gardner, and they taught her to use a few signs based on ASL. Signs for dog, for cat, for creepy baby. Wasn't this incredible? Washoe could sign hundreds of words and seemed to her caretakers to combine the signs into new sentences, one of the hallmarks of human language.
Me, eat, time, eat.
When Washoe saw a swan, she made the signs for water and bird. What a breakthrough. People started teaching other apes to sign, and psychology graduate student Penny Patterson started teaching Coco. Penny said Coco didn't just talk about objects.
Are you sad?
She expressed her emotions.
What frown lips? Bad. Frown. Oh.
Coco became a celebrity. I was convinced. But other people were a bit more skeptical. People like Herbert Terrace, a psychologist at Columbia. He was working with another ape, Nim Chimpsky. Nim used a bunch of signs, just like Washoe and Coco, but Terrace took a cold, hard look at the videos of Nim, and he also went back and analyzed the videos of other apes. He said all those claims about ape language were nothing but wishful thinking. Take the idea that apes could combine signs to form new meanings. Maybe when Washoe saw a swan and signed waterbird, she was just separately pointing out water and a bird. But his skepticism went much further. He doubted the apes even understood the words they were signing. When the trainers would ask questions, the apes would just guess at the right sign. They look for cues in the trainer's body language or simply mimic the trainer's gestures. The apes weren't using language like we would to ask questions or express opinions. They just wanted to get food and affection. Nim's longest recorded sentence was, "Give orange me, give eat orange me, eat orange, give me, eat orange, give me you." Terrace said the trainers were like parents eager to see their child learning. They'd confidently interpret vague gestures and find the meanings they were looking for. Plenty of people objected to Terrace's study, in large part because they said Nim was treated really badly, but the damage to Nim and the whole field was done. Funding for ape language research dried up. So where does that leave us? Are all these claims of talking apes baloney? Well, here's one more study that's still going on. Kanzi is a bonobo, a smaller cousin of the chimpanzee. He doesn't use hand signs, he uses these icons called lexicograms. He selects them on a screen. This one represents dog, this one is tickle, this one, yogurt. The touchscreen system is less ambiguous than hand signing. We can be more certain that Kanzi is choosing his words intentionally, and there's less room for humans to overinterpret what they think he's saying. The results are a bit more scientifically rigorous. And what do these results show? Kanzi knows hundreds of lexicograms, and he uses them correctly 9 times out of 10.
Blueberries.
Blueberry.
And he also seems to get some abstract ideas like bad or good. But he rarely combines lexicograms to convey new ideas. Most of the time, he just uses them to get things he likes. Blueberry, blueberry, blueberry. When people combine words he knows to create a command he's never heard before, Kanzi does respond. In this video, he isn't getting any cues from this woman's face.
Can you put the pine needles in the refrigerator?
But you have to keep it simple. Kanzi wouldn't understand if you asked him to put the pine needles and the blueberries in the fridge. So is Kanzi using language the way humans do? People are still arguing, but it's pretty clear that I'll never get to have a real human-style conversation with an ape. Maybe that's okay. These are amazing, intelligent animals who do communicate a lot in their own way. And maybe if I stop wanting them to be furry little humans, I might really get to know them.
This is the last weekend for some San Diego favorite summer events. Arts editor Nina Garin has details.
Let's start with the 1812 Tchaikovsky Spectacular. This grand concert is one of San Diego's most popular end-of-summer traditions. The San Diego Symphony Orchestra performs favorites by Tchaikovsky, as well as fellow Russian composers like Prokofiev. The Bayside Summer Night events promises booming cannons, fireworks, and some of the most beloved pieces of classical music. Next, we say farewell to Del Mar racing season and the Del Mar Summer Concert Series. Stick around after tonight's final horse race to see the Revivalists, a rock band from New Orleans. Or, if you prefer a dance party, head over on Sunday to catch DJ Steve Aoki. These concerts are free with admission and happen after the last race, which is at about 7 o'clock. Balboa Park After Dark has its final gathering tonight. At this weekly event, museums are open until 8 o'clock, there's entertainment throughout the plaza, and you can grab a bite to eat at one of the many food trucks. There are also museum discounts and special tours of the Museum of Man's Sunset Tower. Finally, time's running out on outdoor summer movie season. There are so many options to watch movies outdoors, whether it's in a park, a beach, or even a parking lot. Some of my favorites include the free and family-friendly summer movies in the park, the picturesque Hotel Del movies on the beach, and the hip street food cinema. For a list of outdoor movie options, go to kpbs.org/arts and click on Outdoor Movies. For KPBS Arts, I'm Nina Garin.
Also this weekend, celebrate women filmmakers with a pair of events tonight and tomorrow. KPBS Arts reporter Beth Accomando has this preview.
Starting tonight at the Museum of Photographic Arts, you can celebrate female filmmakers with a double feature showcasing two pioneering women directors. First up is Merrily We Go to Hell from Dorothy Arzner, who was the first woman admitted to the Directors Guild of America. Frederick March and Sylvia Sidney star in this risque tale of modern marriage.
Being a modern husband gives you privileges, and being a modern wife gives me privileges.
I'm not worried, honey. I've told you before, you've got the words, but not the tune.
Don't forget, I have a musical ear and can pick up tunes easily.
Then, Ida Lupino serves up The Hitchhiker, the first film noir directed by a woman. It's a tense, claustrophobic tale of two men who pick up a hitchhiker who turns out to be an escaped convict.
Sure, I'm Emmett Myers. Do what I tell you, and don't make no fast moves, or a lot of dead heroes back there get nervous.
Both films screen tonight at 7:30 as part of the Famous First program that I co-present with the Film Geeks San Diego at MOPA. Then, as a perfect complement to these early pioneering women directors, Les Femmes Underground International Film Festival showcases new trailblazers with a day of short films by and about women. The films range from the gorgeous experimentation of Diane to zombies with a twist in Brainless Killers.
Vince, is it? Are you gonna drop the boom in my shot?
No.
Didn't think so.
Okay, Sandra, hey, if you want to stop terrorizing the set for like 5 seconds, we'll get this done, okay? And action.
The one-day event begins at 2 p.m. on Saturday at Digital Gym Cinema. The full festival pass is a mere $12. So if you want to support women filmmakers past, present, and future, then you have some great options waiting for you. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Tacos are building bridges across the border today. Latinos and Muslims from Orange County headed down to Rosarito for taco trucks at every mosque. They timed it for the Islamic holiday of Eid. Chefs serves halal tacos to residents. They say they want to help build trust and unity, one tasty taco at a time. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.